Hello, 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 and welcome. I'm Sheila Balgobin, known as the Dream Decipherer, and this is Dream Your Life, Live Your Dream Live, where we talk about all things dreams. So today, despite the extreme heat and humidity here in Miami, I'm going to be talking about how our sleep and dreams change along with the seasons. So dreaming is not like every other physiological process in the body, which is impacted by the external environment and the changing of the seasons. So in theory, what that simply means is that as the seasons change, how well or we sleep or don't, and our dreams will be impacted by the change. But here's a few things that would be good to know with regard to how our dreams can change along with the seasons. Now, as the light levels change as we go into summer, where we have longer days and shorter nights, our sleep cycle also will change because the less melatonin is being produced. Not less melatonin being produced. Melatonin, by the way, is an important sleep hormone. But during the spring and into summer, the amount of melatonin will begin to rise earlier in the evening and fall off earlier in the morning. So we may feel the need to go to sleep a bit earlier and wake up earlier. So the sleep control center in our brains is highly sensitive to temperature. So hot, humid conditions like here in Miami can make it more difficult for sleeping unless you have something to make the room feel cooler, like a fan, or in the case here, because it's so hot and humid, air conditioning, which I actually hate. But our sleep time becomes shorter when there are longer days. And during springtime, when our sleep is reduced by some 25 minutes, we lose almost half an hour of sleep time during the spring and into the summer. But this is probably related to the melatonin and serotonin production, two important sleep hormones. Melatonin is actually regulated by the hours of light and darkness. So when there's more light, such as in spring and summer, we produce less melatonin. But in the fall and winter, when there's less light outside, we produce more of both. A study was done, and it found that we experience the most disruption of our sleep in the spring. And this is because we're starting to wake up earlier due to the longer daylight hours, and our sleep duration decreases. There may be also the impact of allergies or allergens in the air, whether it be tree and grass pollen in the spring and summer to dust mites in the winter. This may also impact the quality of our sleep, which can cause more vivid dreams and even nightmares. So as the winter months or cooler months start to draw in, and the days are shorter and there's less daylight, our vitamin D levels decrease because we absorb a lot of vitamin D through our skin from the sun. Now, vitamin D is important for serotonin. That's one of those important sleep hormones to be produced, and which helps regulate our sleeping and waking cycles, as well as the levels of melatonin in our body. So chronic depletion of vitamin D, which is very common these days, can cause what is called SAD, or seasonal affective disorder, or SAD. People who develop the winter blues, as they might be called. Which is why it's a good idea, even if on cloudy days, to get out of the house and get into light, natural light during the colder months, even though there may not actually be sun. There is an upside, though, to sleeping in winter as opposed to the warmer months, is because it's cooler. It's more beneficial for our sleep cycle. It helps ideally if our brain is a few degrees cooler than our core body temperature, so that our circadian or day-night time schedule works at its best. Now, we'll take a quick look at each season and to how it may be influencing our dreams and even what we may be dreaming about. I can give you an example from my own life, is that during a more difficult period of my life, I was dreaming that it was winter, that it was dark, that it was in black and white. The dream was in black and white instead of color. And it looked bleak, it looked lonely, it looked just a bit depressing. And that was actually the state that I was kind of in at that particular moment in time in my life, even though it wasn't actually winter. And that's important. I mean, it felt like it was winter in these dreams, but that was my inner emotions expressing themselves. So what can your dreams be actually depicting by choosing a particular season? And let's throw out a few ideas about that maybe help give some clues as to what the dreams are trying to say. Now, if your dream is set in the period of the autumn or fall, there's shifting going on. There's perhaps there's something that needs to be left behind and dropped along with the leaves. Is there something that's we're feeling colder and want to feel warm? Maybe there's something that's close to your heart that warms you. This could be a need. The indication of a need to go within, particularly in the winter months, and start to work on planting new seeds that will be put into place, if you will, in the springtime. Winter is the time for going within, just as like the sap descends from and the chlorophyll from the trees and plants descends into the underground during the colder months. So we also need to go within, withdraw a bit from the outside world and feel what is happening with us. It's a time to prepare for the spring and the time to plant new seeds. So even though we may feel like we're stuck in this bleak, wintry landscape, remember there's a lot going on underground, underneath the surface, that isn't apparent because it's covered in cold and dark and snow. Now, springtime, birth, rebirth, renewal, there's all of those things going on. It indicates growth and expansion on our journey, whatever that may be. And this is the time, in the springtime, is when we begin to plant those seeds that we were kind of cultivating during the winter months. I mean, I think about, as a gardener, I think about in late winter, early spring, before it's really too warm to put anything out, we're always starting seedlings in the house to be put outside when it's actually warm enough and that the plants have grown enough that they'll be strong enough to survive outside. Now, summertime, that's full growth, full bloom, growth, nourishment, plenty of sun. So while there may be setbacks, the seeds have been planted, they're in the ground, and they're starting to flourish. Now, I had to kind of go back look at this again from a more spiritual point of view. And, you know, the Bible, as well as other holy books and from different religions, talk about changing seasons and changing times in our lives. And particularly, I think the chapter 3 of the book of Ecclesiastes, which is well known even if people don't know where it's from, puts it perfectly, because it says there is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant and to uproot, a time to mourn, to kill, and a time to heal, a time to tear down and to build, a time to weep and to laugh, a time to mourn and to dance, a time to scatter stones and a time to gather them up again, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. So which season are you in, regardless of what the weather is actually doing outside? Are you having spring-like thoughts and new ideas that you want to put into place? Or perhaps you're in a period that feels stagnant. There's no growth. There's nothing happening. Maybe that's a call to shift your perspective and start to look for those seeds that need to be planted come springtime. Could you be dreaming about things that are being in full bloom? Maybe that's just to give you a heads up as to what's actually going on in your life, or it's a call to action to help those seeds that you planted in the spring to grow and flourish and be strong. So all of our dreams, no matter what season they depict or what time of the year we have them, are about connecting to our emotional state and the context of what is currently happening in our lives. So it's necessary here to consider the broader aspects of the meaning of our dreams, to include the environment around us. What is going on that makes us feel like it's winter, or that we're enjoying the full sunshine of summer? What is going on? What are we feeling? And the context, again, it's like, what season are you dreaming about? What do you see in the environment in that dream? All of those things have a story to tell about what we're really thinking and feeling. And if we use those clues, we can use them to make some decisions that will be of benefit to us in some way when the spring and summer actually comes. So there you have it, some thoughts about changing seasons and changing our lives along with the seasons. And if you have a dream that's depicting a particular time of year and you're not sure what it is it's trying to tell you, get in touch. I'd love to be able to sit down with you and to go over what your dream may be saying to you and what season you may actually be in. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Have a great rest of the day, and I'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.